Hello, my name is Joy Aldrich, and I'm the GRIN Patient Registry Coordinator, living with CMT1A in Seattle, Washington. I'm proud to be part of the most patient-centric and productive CMT patient advocacy group, Hereditary Neuropathy Foundation. Let's talk about the very important role we play as patients in research. Without your participation, researchers won't have the essential patient information to develop drugs, gene therapies, and clinical trials for Charcot-Marie-Tooth and other inherited neuropathies. One of the best things that happened for us with rare diseases was the 21st Century Cures Act, otherwise known as the Cures Act, signed into law on December 13, 2016. It's designed to help accelerate medical product development and bring new innovations and advances to patients who need them faster and more efficiently. The law builds on FDA's ongoing work to incorporate the perspectives of patients into the development of drugs, biological products, and devices in FDA's decision-making process. Cures enhances our ability to modernize clinical trial designs, including the use of real-world evidence and clinical outcome assessments, which will speed the development and review of novel medical products. The patient voice is being heard by government and industry louder than ever before. H&F's patient-centered CMT summits have built upon that patient voice year after year and translated the patient voice into research terms. H&F was ahead of the curve when in 2013, Allison Moore and Lori Sames of the Hannah's Hope Fund for Giant Axonal Neuropathy joined forces and created the Global Registry for Inherited Neuropathies, or GRIN. We relaunched an even better GRIN in 2018. So we need all of you to take just 15 or 20 minutes to create your profile, complete the informed consent, and fill out the surveys ASAP. The second step is the most exciting. It's the Capture-Proof CMT mobile app. But first, let's watch this quick informative video about GRIN.
Meet the Davis family. They're a super cool group of people. Despite their differences, they all have one thing in common: Charcot-Marie-Tooth, or CMT. CMT is an inherited and progressive disease affecting approximately 2.6 million people worldwide. That's as many as multiple sclerosis. Despite this large population, there are currently no treatments, and few have ever even heard of it. Symptoms and severities vary, with the most common being muscle wasting of the feet, legs, hands, and arms, with limb deformities causing mobility issues. Only Alex, Melissa, and Sean show visible signs of CMT. Symptoms can occur at any age within families, with the most common type being past 50% of the time. The Davis family wants to see an end to CMT, but sometimes they feel helpless. What if there was a way they could speed up future treatments? Now there is. Hereditary Neuropathy Foundation introduces GRIN, the Global Registry for Inherited Neuropathies. Here's how it works. Patients create a unique profile on www.neuropathyreg.org. Their vital historical, clinical, and genetic data is then shared with researchers, clinicians, and qualified industry. Scientists and leading pharmaceutical companies incorporate anonymous patient data into CMT research and for the development of CMT clinical trials. Each profile turns the wheels and accelerates treatments, and the Davis family now play a role towards future therapies and a cure for millions of people suffering with CMT. Now that's something to grin about. Sign up at www.neuropathyreg.org today, because treatments begin with you.
Why did we create a patient registry that we call GRIN? Well, think about all the conversations had in the CMT Facebook groups that you follow. While they provide social support, lived experience, and information, or the patient voice, it's not advancing research. So when someone like Anna asks a question about fall frequency in Facebook, it probably makes you feel better about your own falls, but that's about it. By entering your fall frequency data in GRIN tells us that about 65% of people with X-linked CMT1A experience frequent falls, while only 50% of people living with CMT1B and HNPP fall frequently. Very specific and useful data to investigators. Without your participation, researchers won't have the essential patient information to develop drugs, gene therapies, and clinical trials for Charcot-Marie-Tooth and other inherited neuropathies. In addition, as GRIN grows, we gain greater insights from you as patients to help accelerate therapies for Charcot-Marie-Tooth and in other inherited neuropathies. With social media community sharing, we get social support and understanding that others living with CMT have similar challenges, which I totally agree is very valuable. I've never met anyone else with CMT, virtually or in person, until I met Estella, Allison, and Bernadette in 2015. CMT can be very lonely, and the connections we make on social media are invaluable. But consider the fact that the very valuable information we share on social media is not viable for research. It's public, whether it's private group or not, things can always be screenshotted and shared. Most of the information is not organized or saved. And rarely is the type of CMT correlated with the symptom or challenge being discussed. That is where GRIN comes in. Please take some time to share your valuable data with us. It's de-identified, so investigators won't know who you are, just the data sets you provide. It's viable for research, Institutional Review Board, or IRB approved, and this is crucial for research. And it's archived and scalable. We make the information accessible to investigators on their request, but we only send them de-identified data. So use social media for social support, but please take the time to regularly update your GRIN surveys. Here's just one example of the type of CMT stats we shared with an industry partner, and this resulted in the addition of a pain scale being used in their clinical trial. 78% of patients experience pain. How many of us have been told that CMT doesn't cause pain? Well, here's the proof. And we were even able to break it down into the different types of pain: muscle cramps in legs and feet, muscular pain, neuropathic pain, and muscle cramps in the hands and arms. Better data equals better treatments. So what can you expect when you sit down at your computer to register in GRIN? First, you'll create a profile with your name, address, phone number, email address, and password. Next, you'll complete the informed consent. This is required by the Institutional Review Board that I mentioned earlier. Then you'll get to this landing page, which is the real meat of the project. You'll want to start with a natural history study. Then you can complete additional studies and even upload your genetic report, EMG, and other relevant medical records. All identifying data will be redacted prior to sharing the information with investigators. What types of questions will you be asked in the natural history study? Well, all the questions fall into these categories: where you live, how old you are, what type of CMT you have, how old you were when you were diagnosed, what type of doctor diagnosed you, how long it took to get a diagnosis, what type of tests provided your diagnosis, what other medical issues you might have, GI, breathing, cancer, what type of treatments have you had, what worked and what didn't. Was there something that made your CMT worse? What type of devices do you use? Cane, AFO, wheelchair? How does CMT affect your quality of life? What challenges do you think affect you the most? Would you be willing to participate in a clinical trial? And what would motivate you to, or make you not want to participate? And what are your symptoms and daily challenges? Now, that leads us to, how do we capture CMT? What does it look like? How exactly does it affect your daily life? We all know that living with CMT makes us resilient. I know all of you strive your best and have to power through. If a doctor asks you, can you do stairs? Many of us would say yes, but in the back of our minds, we're thinking, but it sure isn't pretty. Or, I don't do stairs like many of my friends and colleagues. It's really such a subjective question, right? I'd have to qualify if there's a railing, and how many stairs, and how steep are they. That's why we're so excited to share with you today the second step of the key role you play in research. Let's watch the video that Estella put together, which tells the story of the Capture-Proof CMT mobile app best. And just so that you can see how easy it is to use, here's the tutorial video that we send to everybody who signs up to be a beta tester.
Okay, so here we are. We have clicked on our special capture-proof link, which is going to take us to the page to download the app to our phone. So go ahead and click on the download button. Once it's downloaded, we want to open up the program and select New Account on the bottom, then select Patient, and go ahead and create your profile. And be sure at the bottom, once you're completed, to include our special invite code provided. And just read through our terms of conditions, agree to that, and then you'll be receiving a text link. Click on the link and open up the app. Okay, now you create a password and read through each of our intro slides. Make sure that you have ample time to create your first check-in, which is approximately 30 to 45 minutes. And agree to each one of our terms and conditions, our actions required, which helps you prepare for each one of these surveys and videos. All right, let's go. This is our ONLS survey, which asks a series of CMT-related questions. So go ahead and complete each one of those and click on Next. You'll be prompted to our next screen, which will automatically pop up a hair washing video. So we encourage everyone to watch the tutorials. At the top right hand, there is a yellow tutorial button, and this just gives you a better idea of what we are looking for in each of the videos. And then you can click on the left arrow at the top. That is going to bring you back to the video capture page. Go ahead and click on the bottom left on that video icon. And for demonstration purposes, we will be using a shy teenage boy. As you can see, we've aligned his body as best as we can with the overlay. And we're just going to follow the instructions above in that gray box. We can minimize those instructions at any time by swiping up. And once we are done with the recording, we'll just hit stop. And we can either accept it with a check on the right, or we can decline it and re-record with the X on the left. So we're going to head and accept. That will upload to the library, and we can add any notes we'd like to that video. Moving along with one more demonstration. This time is a horizontal overlay. As you can see, super easy to align your subject with the overlay, and just go ahead and follow those instructions again in the gray box, or watch the tutorial as well. Once we've completed that, we just want to hit stop, accept or decline, and that will also upload to our library. So there we go. All we want to do now is just complete the remaining photo requests and videos in the menu, and once they are completed, you will receive a screen that looks like this. If you qualify for the pilot study, you will fill in your address, and in 1 week, you will receive your supplies and a text message invitation to complete check-in number 2. Once again, thank you so much for participating in the Capture-Proof CMT study and accelerating CMT research.
Now here's where we need your help. If you feel that what H&F is trying to do to move the needle of research to get treatments and cures to people living with CMT more quickly, please make a note to do these 3 steps tonight. First, we need you to join GRIN. You can either put that information into your browser window, or you can use your camera on your phone and capture that QR code, and that'll take you right to the registration page for GRIN. Then you'll send me an email to registrycoordinator@hnf-cure.org to tell me that you want to be a beta tester. I'll send you an invitation. You just need to check your email, open it up, and get started. I hope that I've been able to illustrate the key role that patients play in advancing research today. For years after my diagnosis, I lived in a deep, dark secret that was CMT. I didn't feel that there was anything I could do other than watch the newsletters for news of a potential cure. My life changed for the better when I met Allison, Estella, Bernadette, and so many of you at the HNF Patient-Centered CMT Summits. I became empowered. My voice was heard. I testified in front of the FDA about how CMT affects me and how I'm eager to participate in research, not only for myself, but for my family. Now it's time for you to join me and play a key role in CMT research starting today. Thanks.